weekly vlog number 39 and 40. Before I get started here real quick, I want to start by saying that the gameplay footage you see in the video is actually just stuff that I got recorded during those 10 free days I got to play WoW. And I still have a lot of gameplay footage left, so you're going to see that in future videos instead of just looking at my fat face on the camera. As for the stuff that actually happened, let's actually go ahead and start with last week. And I'm actually going to start with, I guess I'll get to the fact that I'm sick a bit later, but let's go ahead and start with the fact that I ended up waking up with some real annoying problem going on. So what happens to me on rare occasions is, for some reason, random ass memories that I have will go and actually just for no reason at all, I don't know why, just random memories will just make me feel sick for a few seconds or so. And what it'll do is it'll actually end up driving my temperature up to about 101 degrees, maybe 100 degrees between those two, in about 5 seconds or less. And after it actually reaches that and it stays there for a little bit, it'll reduce back down to its regular 98.8 or so over the course of the next 10 or 20 minutes. But what happened this time is that it actually ended up happening when I was asleep. So I was having some weird dream, and I rarely dream, but I do dream a lot more now that I'm out of school and everything than when I was actually still in school. When I was actually in school, I didn't really ever dream, and as soon as I got out of school, I got off my antidepressants, and my sleep was actually starting to get on schedule. Well, my schedule. I wasn't being sleep deprived from having to actually wake up early and go to school because I don't work with a regular 24-hour sleep cycle. I have a 26.5-hour sleep cycle. So after I got my sleep normal for me, I ended up starting to dream every once in a while. So I dream maybe 2 or 3 times a week now. And for those who actually say, well, you don't remember your dreams after you wake up, I actually went to a sleep lab, and it was there that it proved, hey, yeah, you're right, you really don't dream. So that's also how I figured out my sleep disorders and sleep apnea as well, but whatever. So anyways, so some reason, just the dream itself, I guess it had part of the memory or something mixed into it, and I ended up waking up that day, and I had no energy all day, and it just kind of sucked. So along with that, the day after, I ended up having a cold, which kind of sucked, but at least I had my energy back. So aside from the regular cold stuff, like a messed up nose, all that, I was actually perfectly fine. I had all my energy. It was awesome compared to the day before. But let's go on and move on, because the cold only lasted maybe 3 days. And after those 3 days, I was still a little annoyed, and actually that was when I skipped last week's video. And I was annoyed because my lungs were still bugging me. And you can actually hear in this video right now that my voice is obviously significantly different than it usually is. I actually kind of like the way it is right now, but I know it's not going to last. It's just from coughing so much. It's kind of messing with my throat. So because my lungs were still messing with me, and they felt really sensitive, I was coughing a lot, and even though the cold was gone, I just wanted to let my lungs rest a bit. So I skipped last week's video, didn't record it at all. I mentioned on Twitter, which also posted to Facebook, that I didn't record because I was sick, and I just waited a week. And now today, Saturday, I actually went over to urgent care, which is just near the hospital here in town, and I just went in. I was thinking I had bronchitis because I've had bronchitis once before, back when I was in high school 7 or 8 years ago. I don't remember exactly how long ago I had it. I don't remember if it was my last year in school or the year before my last year in school, but it was some time back when I was still in high school. So it was between 7 and 8 or 7 and 9 years ago when I last had bronchitis, and it's similar to that. I'm just not short of breath like I was back then, but also back then it felt like it was actually in my lungs instead of more in the tube between lungs, and right now it feels like it's in the tube between my lungs. The pipe that carries the air that you actually inhale from your mouth or your nose down into your lungs, there's a tube connected there, and that's where it feels like it's actually at. So that's probably why I'm not out of breath, but it still feels sensitive and it's making me cough, and it feels like there's gunk trapped in there. So I just kind of needed to go to urgent care finally, because it's been a week and it's just not getting any better. So it's not just a really bad cold or just something that I'm misinterpreting for bronchitis. So I went in and basically like, yeah, it's bronchitis. So I got home and I got to get some meds for it now, but I should be back to normal within another week, maybe 2 weeks. It shouldn't really be a big deal. I already went a week without meds. It's not really a huge thing. Bronchitis is just a simple infection. They said it sounds like it's probably already almost healed itself, so whatever. The antibiotics I'll be getting should just make it clear up a lot faster. No big deal. So yeah, I do have bronchitis, and that is actually why I skipped recording last week. So for anyone wondering why there wasn't a video last week, check my Twitter or Facebook pages if there's a video missing when there's actually supposed to be a video up. Wait a day. Sometimes my videos will be up early in the morning. Sometimes they'll be up late at night. Kind of just depends on when I'm awake. And you can actually find links to my Twitter and Facebook on my YouTube channel itself. There are 2 links to Facebook on my YouTube channel. You can click either one. One will say it's my friendable Facebook. That's because one of them is actually a like page that I made. So you can check my like page. Though I don't know if that one actually gave the status properly. It doesn't seem to work as well as the friendable one. But you can also check the friendable one, which is actually just a public, not private. It's a public Facebook page, just like any ordinary Facebook page that you would have. You can go to the likable one, or you can check the friendable one. Either one works. I don't really care which. It's just up to you. Both of them pretty much look the same. They have the same name and well, actually they don't have the same name. They have the same picture though. The public one that you can friend, the friendable one I guess I should say, has my actual name, Sean Waldenberg, on it. And the other one says my actual YouTube channel name, so Casual Gamer. And the likable one is the one that says Casual Gamer. And yeah, it does look like Twitter actually did finally post, so I don't know. I guess it was just late, or Facebook was being a jerk and didn't actually want to show it when I last checked, but it's not really a huge deal. So anyways, now that I'm actually done speaking about what's wrong with my voice and why I didn't get a video up last week, I'll actually go ahead and continue explaining the stuff that happened. And there was actually some stuff that happened with family here. I'm not going to be talking about that though. Most family stuff I don't actually talk about on these videos. So if you think that while watching these videos you get all the information about me, or if you look at my Twitter, Facebook and stuff, you get all the information about what happens. No, you don't get all the information. I give a good amount of information. There's really not a whole lot that ever really happens, because obviously I'm just sitting out here in my room at my computer all day because disabled, and I don't really have anything to do or anywhere that I like going, because I'm still waiting to get a damn trike. So anyways, I'm not going to be talking about the stuff that happened with family stuff, and I will instead talk about Amazon CD. So if you order a CD off Amazon, because I got a CD for a couple CDs actually ordered for someone for Christmas, and I was looking around, and on the CD page where you can check to see the new or used and the information of the CD actually on Amazon page, it'll say that if you order from Amazon you'll get a free digital download of the CD. And I looked at that, I was like, okay, cool. I already knew about this because they gave it to me earlier and I didn't realize that, but I found out later, and I just ended up getting whatever I had ordered on CD before and managed to download that. But when I went in through checkout, I was taking a while. I was ordering other stuff too. I didn't really read all of the information they had there, and I kind of forgot about it anyways because I was looking around at the gift options. And so I looked around and I went in to order stuff. I typed in some stuff for the gift options because I also selected gift on the CDs and the other stuff I was getting, then something ended up going out of stock when I was in the middle of that. So I just swapped it out for something else. And by the time I did that, I was just like, fuck it, I'm not going to actually put anything here on these gift options. So I actually just basically went in, got into order after swapping out the thing, and just everything was marked for gift. And I ordered, then I went over to check music library and just wasn't anything there. So I figured, okay, probably just going to be a while. So I waited, the CDs got here. I looked, then I still didn't have those actual songs for digital download. And this is probably obvious to some people who have actually dealt with Amazon CD purchases or digital download for music before, but I'm getting there, give me a sec. I eventually noticed that when I went back to the page with the CD for sale on Amazon, that it actually did say, oh, if you order this as a gift, you don't get digital download. And I thought, okay, well, that would have been helpful to know on checkout, which is kind of retarded because I didn't actually really read that part because they only show it at one point, and it's only on that page where you read the information about it. You get to listen to previews of the song, you choose new or used. And I did not know I was going to not get those as digital download, so I could back up, reburn the songs to a disc if the person I give them to ends up ruining the discs or losing them or something. So it would have been really awesome if they either gave me those as digital download, or on checkout they gave a warning saying, hey, if you get this as a gift, you can't actually get it as a digital download. And I don't see why they don't give it as digital download. I get that you're giving it as a gift and it's supposed to actually be for that person, but they don't even give a little code that you can enter to get free digital download from Amazon onto your own account on the little slip, the gift slip. They could have at least done that, but they didn't even do that. So the thing here that also doesn't really make sense to me, why they think it's unnecessary to give digital download even if you order it as a gift, is that you could order it normally without ordering it as a gift, keep the digital download, the free digital download, and still give those CDs away as a gift normally, and that would work equally as well as just ordering it as a gift, except even better because then you get those digital download copies. And the part here that is actually even worse is that when I got those ordered, they weren't shipped any different. They weren't wrapped. You would think, okay, it's a gift, it's going to be wrapped, and it's going to have this little note pinned to it saying it's from you since you order it, and it's to the person, and it's got this little special message, but it's not even that. They didn't even wrap it. It was just shipped normally as if it wasn't even ordered as a gift. So it's completely retarded. A trade-off, basically, all they do is they get this, basically this 3" by 3" square piece of printed out paper that gives you a little message and says from you, and it's just thrown in there with the packaging. So basically, if anyone is actually going to be ordering music from Amazon and you order it on CD and you're getting it as a gift, don't actually order it as a gift, because you can always, even if you don't like the music, it'll be tied to your Amazon account. You can download the song again for free as digital download from Amazon, and you can burn it to a disc again. If the person who you're getting the CDs for ends up ruining the CDs or losing them, you can just reburn it for them, and things will actually be a lot better than if you order it as a gift. So just my little advice to you is don't order it as a gift. Other stuff, it might be a little helpful. They do take away the receipt in a little way and just hide all the pricing, even though it's kind of redundant knowing that anyways, because they actually say the serial code on that little slip that they give, and people could look it up with the serial code, or they could just look up the name of what it is that you ordered for them. I don't know, it just doesn't really make any sense to me. It's a little stupid. They could have at least wrapped the damn thing. So the next thing, and it's actually the last thing, is that I made a bio filter for my fish tank, sort of. I still got to get the AVerMedia to add to it, but what I did is I got a water bottle from the house. It was just unused, no one really wanted it, and I just drained it out first, actually. Then I rinsed it out and just repeatedly drain, rinse, and after draining and rinsing it out, I cut a hole in the bottom so an airline tube for the airstone can fit through, and I then poked the bottom side of it with a crap ton of holes with a little sewing needle. Then on the upper area of the bottle, I actually cut a couple slits in it so water can flow into the bottle. And what I'm going to end up doing is taking the cap off, sticking the airline tube all the way through the bottle, then attaching the airstone to the bottom and actually stuffing the airstone into the actual spot where the water is supposed to come out when you're taking a drink. I don't know what the hell that's actually called, but I'll be sticking the airstone into the bottle itself after I get AVerMedia and everything put into it, and I get a little cloth as well. I might use a cloth, I don't know, it kind of depends how small the bubbles are. I might stuff a cloth in the bottom to try and spread out the air bubbles a little more and try and quiet them a bit, because even sewing needle pin holes are kind of big holes, and I just want those bubbles to be kind of small. So I don't know, I'll see what I'm going to do with that, but I'm just going to end up sticking the airstone in the bottom after I attach the tube to it and get the media in the bottle, sticking it in and putting the cap back on. And I also got a couple suction cups added to it so I can just stick it to the side of the tank, inside the tank. And whenever the airstone is on, I won't need to get a new airstone or anything. I can just use the one airstone I already have that I'm using, and it'll push water out as it brings bubbles out, and it'll move the media around and just flow the bubbles out of the bottom of the water bottle as it pulls water in from the top. So it'll actually be upside down water bottle. And I've actually seen some of those on YouTube before, but figured, yeah, it's kind of a neat idea. I probably don't really need it in my tank, but whatever, I may as well. And I actually did look up some information just randomly. I was looking around, and apparently algae is actually good for your fish tank because it apparently removes nitrates from the water. So I already knew about the nitrogen cycle, but I never really paid attention to algae or anything. I thought algae was bad and never looked into it, but apparently it's good. So I'm not really gonna try removing the algae that's in the tank. I'm just gonna let it stay there and leave it be because that's actually healthy for the fish. It doesn't hurt the fish with the algae being around, but removing those nitrates is actually giving their water conditions just more health, basically. It just makes it so they're not going to get sick as easily or die as easily. Because it starts with they eat stuff or if there's leftover food and they go to the bathroom, and then it'll release ammonia as that stuff breaks down, it rots. The biomedia in the filter and the biomedia that's going to be in the actual water bottle I'm putting in the tank will end up breaking down the ammonia into nitrite, which is not as bad as ammonia. And when it goes through again, because there's bacteria on the biomedia, obviously it has to build up after a while, but it does build up that good bacteria and it breaks it down. So after that bacteria is grown, it breaks down the ammonia into nitrite. Then that nitrite gets broken down again into nitrate, and nitrate isn't as bad as nitrite, but it's still bad. So then the algae just takes care of the nitrate, which is kind of awesome, even though I'm already doing a water clean once per week. But it's still just going to be nicer because I can still see the water get foggier throughout the week until I get it clean each week. And it might just help keep it a little clearer throughout that entire time. And as for the quarries that I ended up getting, yes, they are eating the algae. I have noticed that it's nowhere near what an auto does. They don't really seem to get a whole lot of it. They seem to just go around the algae a lot. They go over it. I mean, they don't just avoid it. They go over it constantly. They're going over it, scouring the algae, but they seem to only take off some of the loose bits of algae that are on the surface that just comes off. So whenever I see them going over the specks of algae on the back wall of the tank, I actually see them go over one of the spots and it'll end up being about half as much of a spot when they're done going away from that algae. So there'll be a spot, they'll go over it, and only about half that spot will be left after they're done going over it. And that's actually pretty much it. That all actually happened last week except for when I went in for the bronchitis. That was actually today. Nothing else really happened this week. I'm probably going to be playing some games on the Super Nintendo, but that's about it. And the CPU I want is actually down in price again, but it's still just a little too much for me to afford because of Christmas, so it kind of sucks. I'm hoping it'll stay down there for next month, because if it is, then it's going to be awesome, because right now it's $100 cheaper. It's at $480. It's actually $5 cheaper when it's not on sale, because it dropped from $585 to $580, so now it's technically $105 cheaper than I was expecting to pay for it, but it's still just about $20 or $30 too much than I can currently afford. So I will be able to get it next month and finally replace hardware in my computer. But anyways, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys very much for watching. This is probably going to be a long video. I don't know, a bit more talking than I was expecting. I'll see you guys next week. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Oh, right. And also, feel free to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and or a share. I forgot about that. Holy crap. Yeah, seriously. Now I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.